Well, I mean, this is what they do in wartime. Like in wartime, it doesn't matter what your skill is. If the government needs you for the war effort, then now you're working for the government because the government is in wartime. Okay, so if you're running a farm and you're growing organic vegetables and suddenly the government decides they need you to plant corn because they need biofuel to run their tanks, then okay, now you're growing corn. And if your partner happens to be a carpenter, well now we might need him to go and build army barracks, so you're going to come and do that. So this is what happens in wartime, and what he's done with this bill is he's made it possible for him to do that during peacetime. So basically, the government can now come and commandeer anybody for anything they want. Okay, so it's exactly the same as if the country's at war. So perhaps the government, just anybody, whatever skill you've got, or whatever they want to use your land for, whatever they want to use your equipment for, they can do that now with this new bill that Obama brought in. And then what he's done with Bill H.R. 347 is he has made it possible that anybody who protests any of this action, if there's secret police there, if there's politicians there, anywhere the secret police are on duty, anybody who creates any disturbance at all can go to jail for a year, straight up.
A
That's what
year?
a year. That's what he's done with Bill H.R. 347. It basically makes free speech a felony
Right.
if you are performing free speech or creating any type of disturbance in an area where the secret police have been put there to protect anybody. Wherever they've been deployed, if the secret police are there, and like say Mitt Romney's up there having a speech, and you go, get off, Mitt, whatever. You create some sort of a disturbance, you can be jailed for a year for creating any type of disturbance anywhere near an area where the secret police have been deployed. Okay?
Sharice's look in her eyes right now and on her face that she can't believe this.
Bill
Yeah,
H.R. 347, this was signed into law, I think, last Thursday. Now, when you couple that with the National Defence Resources Preparedness Act, which is basically, like I said, peacetime martial law, it enables the government to be able to do anything they want, commandeer anybody they want for any reason they want. This is what's been brought in since people have been waving the Coney flag. A couple of weeks ago, I said to people, while your right hand is waving the Coney flag, just pay attention to whatever the left hand does. And this is what the left hand has done while all this Coney stuff's been going on. Then you look at the IUCN. Have you heard of that? The
no.
IUCN it's a meeting. It's like a G20 or something meeting that's going on in Brazil very, very soon, and it's basically Agenda 21 on steroids. It's basically UN control of all environmental objectives and stuff as well. We've got a link to that on the Crow House. You want to go and look at that and see, it all talks about wonderful things like eradicating poverty and all this sorts of stuff and harmonization methods and all this sort of stuff around the earth. But it's basically just putting all the environmental resources of the planet in control of the UN is what it's all about. It's Agenda 21 on steroids. So there's all sorts of stuff going on at the moment while people are sort of running around waving this Coney flag. And all the Ugandans are saying this is all rubbish. Coney hasn't been here for 6 years. We've got a president who's a brutal dictator who's US-backed, and we don't really want the US coming into our country, thank you. So you've really got to look at the whole Coney thing. Brilliant advertising. Whatever they did to get it to go that viral, I mean, we all need to learn how to do that, but I would suggest that it wouldn't have done that without some pretty significant help from Google and a few people like this.
Oh, I
I know
agree. I agree.
exactly. I know exactly who did it. It's the. Have you ever heard of the Family Foundation?
The Family Foundation. No, I haven't heard of that one.
Christian Foundation, or Jeff Charlotte wrote a book about it, and it's called The Family, and it's basically a society of gentlemen who are all diehard Christians that like to talk about their heroes such as Hitler. They say Hitler was a hero because he was able to rally people in an effective way. And so they like to model themselves as like Jesus and Hitler at the same time. And basically, they started this whole thing in Uganda, the whole kill the gays thing. And that's been totally exposed. And then now you have this guy who is from that whole group of religious right, and he makes this video. He made this video several years ago. He was doing showings of it at missionary training centers around the U.S. since 2009. So this isn't new. This whole thing isn't new, and I don't know what made it hit 42 million views in like 3 days. I have no idea, but I know who started it. So, but it really irritated me. Even the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, this is not a good guy. You
Well, I
know?
mean, it's a great lesson to humanity that they can unite.
Yes.
That's the one good thing about it.
Yeah.
It does show to people that we are capable of all standing together on an issue.
Pretty.
You
Yeah.
know, but we've got to look at what that issue is, and too many people are taken in by the children. All you've got to do is put some good-looking kids in there and tell the people these kids are downtrodden, and suddenly everybody wants to be part of saving the kids. It's a very, very tried and true method, and that was very much done in the Coney video. I mean, look at Burma. Look what's been going on in Burma for the last 60 years. If we're so much about human rights, why haven't we gone and fixed that?
Right.
There's so many things going on this planet that need addressing, and 90% of them are because of this monetary system. And all of these things are just to distract people. Legitimize military action in any country they want in Africa. We can just put advisors in there. Yeah, right, we can send the Secret Service in there with guns. Anybody. It's to protect the children, When has the US ever done anything to protect the children? Look what it did to Iraq. 500,000 children dead in 10 years from sanctions. And that's just the children under 5. They didn't count children that were over 5. So how many children really died from those UN sanctions in Iraq in 10 years? And yet you can rally the world by showing them a beautiful African kid and saying, oh, look, 30,000 children have been kidnapped in 26 years.
And
Well, that's really
an outrage. Yep.
Yeah, that's really bad. That's really bad that that's happening. But there's no guarantee that was Coney who took them all for a start. I mean, he's not there now doing anything there now, so it's completely out of date. And what about the 10 times that or 20 times that died in 10 years because of the actions of our governments? What about that? Why don't we address that? Why don't we address what's going on in Burma? Why don't we address the entire country, the entire world, being enslaved to a money system based on interest-bearing debt that's perpetuated by the criminals that we have running our governments? Why don't we address that? Why can't we rally for that issue? Why can't we stop worrying whether someone is black or white or gay or goth or a bikie or whatever, or whatever social or racial window we put them in? Why can't we forget about all that and just be people and unite for a common issue, which is to save the direction humanity's going in and save our planet and save our Earth? All of these issues that we focus on, they're just little rabbit holes that lead nowhere. But the one thing about that video is it shows that we can unite. So let's just unite for the right cause. That's what I say.
I completely agree with you. But I've got to ask you this, and I've asked you this before, but I'm wondering if your answer has changed or your opinion has changed. But what the hell are they gearing up for? Because they've got their bunkers. Now they've got the Freedom of Speech Act. They've got the NDAA. They've got the FEMA camps. Some people would say that they're gearing up for some kind of natural disaster and they want to try to keep order after this.
Well, it could be that. It could be that they're just going to create a natural disaster. I mean, that recent earthquake in Mexico looks very, very sus. Yeah, I mean, it could be that they're just gearing up for something, or it could be that they're just slowly introducing all of this stuff. See, they introduce these things and they don't use them straight away. You know what I mean? They're there. They make sure that they're there. They've got all the FEMA camps in place. Now they've got anything to say. Anybody who even questions what we do, we can arrest you. We can put you in jail for a year. This is probably a direct result of the Occupy movement. So that means that everybody who attended the Occupy movement, if the secret police, all the secret police have to do is walk down there. Oh no, the secret police have been deployed. So you're all under arrest. You're all under arrest. You're all going to FEMA camps because we've got this bill in place and you're all creating a disturbance. And the secret police are here. We've sent the secret police down to protect that guy over there. Right. It doesn't matter who. Anybody we name. Oh, there's a disturbance. Quick, deploy the secret police. So it completely eviscerates what's left of the First Amendment. I mean, if there was anything left of it. And the one good thing about it is it might rally the troops. It might cause the American people to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute. This is, you're removing free speech, then you've removed America. There is no America without free speech. America was founded on free speech. It's the whole basis of the American system, that the spirit of America is free speech. How can you take this away and still have America? So yeah, America's gone, folks. Bye-bye. It used to be there, but it's gone now, and it's going to continue gone until the people decide that they want it back and realize that all this is fiction. And yeah, you've got to question the police. Why haven't they gone and arrested the politicians that did this? Because this is exactly what the Constitution warns you about, that you're going to have to deal with domestic enemies who are going to subvert the Constitution. And it's your duty to deal with these situations when they happen. And that's what's going on. I mean, to put it bluntly, that's what's going on.
Right, and we let it happen because of the fear of 9/11. Started with the Patriot Act, then we had free speech zones, and here we are.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But, I mean, it's all been done by design, and it's because it's been done in gradual increments. The people have just said, oh, well, it's got to be okay because of 9/11. Gee, we don't want 9/11 to happen again. Problem, reaction, solution. I mean, just look at the United States now, and there should be no doubt in anybody's minds that 9/11 was staged, because look at what's happened to the United States as a result of it. You know, you've got to look at history, folks. I mean, look at the Reichstag fire. Look what happened in Germany. It's exactly the same thing. And it's been run by the same people, basically, the same banking cartels, the Vatican, the whole lot. You know, it's just this tried and true method. They do it all the time.
That's why it's called Homeland Security. These are all Nazi terms.
Absolutely. It was fatherland security in World War II.
Mm-hmm. Wow. The world that we have created is amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Max Igan is even amazinger, though, with all the information that he shared with us, thecrowhouse.com. And what are you working on now? How's the film coming along?
Film's coming along very well, actually. It's nearly finished. A couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks away. I'm basically doing some artwork for the cover at the moment, and I've just got to sort of go through and tweak a few things, add a little bit of footage to the end, and it should be out within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Then it'll be available for download from thecrowhouse.com probably around about mid-May, something like that. So, but it'll be on YouTube in 2 or 3 weeks. Be interesting to see how it's received, because it's very different to the other ones. It's not quite as spiritually based. It's more looking at what's going on around us and trying to offer solutions for that. So I think it's going to be a pretty interesting year, Chris, and I think it's coming out in a timely manner. So be interesting to see.
Nice, very nice. Have you done any more activism on fracking and things like that?
I haven't had time, really. I've been busy burning CHAPELLE CORBY DVDs and getting them out. There's a lot of new information actually coming about CHAPELLE CORBY, and I can't really share that with you at the moment, but there is another production going to be coming out soon. I'm going to be working with the people who made Expendable, and we're going to be working on another project which will be quite a short film, probably 45 minutes to an hour, and we'll get it all concise, and we'll put this new information in there, and hopefully that will cause a real stir as well. But we want to get that out pretty quickly, so it's good that the transformation is virtually finished.
You got to get her out of there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it would be good. It would be good to not only get her out, but also expose the people who put her there and expose them for what they are.
And this isn't anything new. We just watched a show the other day. It was Locked Up Abroad, and this guy got totally set up with a bunch of hash when he was in Indonesia.
Oh, yeah. What happened? Supposedly, this is the story that they presented, but his fingerprints got mixed up with the person that he was with. They took the fingerprints and then put the wrong names. They let the other guy go, whose fingerprints were on these barrels that they were shipping hash in, and this guy got locked up. And the embassy came and said, hey, you have a mix-up here. This isn't the right guy. And they said, well, the police aren't prepared to release you because they would look bad. They want to save face. And they convicted this person of something like 25 years. An Australian, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking what's going on over there, and our government just doesn't do anything about it. Because, I mean, Australia, basically, if you look at it, Australia's still kind of a penal colony. It was founded as a penal colony. And so it's an interesting place. It's interesting the power that we have or don't have in the world, the power that our government doesn't seem to have to be able to get anybody released from foreign prisons. I mean, we can't even seem to get a prisoner exchange thing happening. And the government really isn't interested in exposing many of these things anyway, because it makes them look bad, again. Same with CHAPELLE CORBY. They weren't interested in her being found innocent, because if she was found innocent, it would have made them look bad. And that's the sole reason she was convicted. for political expediency. That was it. It was just easier to have her convicted.